Alright, I think we're rolling. Hey guys, Mum, Ryan, Uncle, Auntie, Grandma, Granddad, Uncle and Auntie again, whoever else is watching. The reason why I'm making this video is because everyone is asking me the same question and I don't want to keep on repeating myself. So I thought I would make this video so then that way you all can get the same direct answer from me, not just little bits from Mum or Ryan, which makes sense, right? Get the information straight from the horse's mouth. A few of the questions that you guys were asking me was, one of the things that Uncle, you were saying that you want to hear what's going through my mind and my heart right now, that you won't judge but that you will listen. And what else did you say? That you care about me and want to know directly my thoughts and reasons as to why I'm choosing to disassociate myself soon. What was the other thing that you said? Let's scroll through the messages on my phone. Your biggest question for me was, which organization am I going to that offers the same wonderful brotherhood and spiritual truths, and that has Jehovah's backing? Well, firstly, everything that I have found out, and yes, I've done my research, and no, it is not fake. Auntie, you were saying that yes, it's easy for people to falsify documents and things like that, but I know myself that one has to go to the one has to go straight to the horse's mouth to find out this information. So I went straight to the IRS, I think, the official tax return information, because I'm not a person that's dumb that just believes any little thing that goes on, because if that were the case, I don't know where I would have been 10 years ago. But I like to do my research and I want to make sure that I know everything is true, because one of the reasons why I got reinstated was because nobody would study with me and nobody was allowed to study with me. So how else am I meant to figure out if this is what I wanted to do? So with no choice, I got reinstated. I got reinstated because I wanted to give this a go and find out for myself if this was the truth, and that indeed is what I was doing. I went through the God's Love book. Yes, it took me a while because there was a lot of inconsistencies and time schedules and things like that, which was cool. Some of it was really good. It helped me deal with a lot of things. Personally, like values and things. I don't know what's going on with my hair. It's like flying away. Personal values and morals and how the Bible can apply into my personal life, which is really cool. And there were other things that really got to me, like the whole chapter on disfellowshipping, and how it's such a loving provision. I never thought for 1 second that it was a loving provision. I was so alone. I had made things right with my living situation, and I was all alone down in Gore, so I had no family, no friends, no one to turn to. I had broken up with Kirk. We had a child together. I broke up with Kirk because I couldn't see myself marrying him. Because we're two different people, and just I had tried so hard to make it work with Kirk. But anyway, enough of that. I had made my life right in the eyes of Jehovah, but apparently in the eyes of the elders I hadn't done enough. So they disfellowshipped me, and I appealed, telling them that my life had been made right, and I still got disfellowshipped. Now, I was alone down in Gore, and I was trying so hard to make everything right was trying to get reinstated before I moved back to Palmerston North, and that didn't happen. No. So, because the reason, well, hold up, let me rewind. So, when I went down to Gore, I had been inactive for quite some time. Probably from my actions, I should have been disfellowshipped. But I kind of faded away a little bit out of the organisation. But when I got pregnant, I really wanted to figure out what I wanted to do, because a child is a serious business. And growing up as a witness, the way that you and Dad brought me up, I needed to make sure that this indeed was the truth, because I wanted to make sure I was going to give Riley the best life that I could. Now, me as a mother, that's one of the most important things for me, because I love Riley so much, and he means the world to me, that I don't want to put my child astray. So I needed to make sure of this for myself. A lot of this is rambling, but that is okay, because I need to talk to you guys and tell you how it is. And I hope that you all watch the whole thing, because you all want to know, and I need to tell you everything. And that's a promise that you guys have to make while watching this video. So yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to study, but that wasn't going to happen. So then I decided to get reinstated. At the time when I moved up to Palmerston North, I tried to go to the meetings once I'd moved, and I went to go see the elders, but I don't know who I spoke to, but he basically told me to leave, that it wasn't the place or something. It was weird. Basically, from my understanding, is that he told me to leave, and so I never came back until, we had the circuit overseer's visit. I don't know what congregation, the West congregation, and two sisters knocked on my door, and I told them that I was disfellowshipped and to not come back. They came back, and I was like, well, what's going on here with the circuit overseer? And he's like, you're welcome to come back. But I still didn't go back until I probably moved into another house, maybe half a year later, and got in touch with the elders. And, well, Mum told them where I lived, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a go, because I wanted to know, and so I did. I started to go back to meetings, and it was horrible going to meetings and not being able to talk to anybody. I really wanted to get reinstated before I moved to Palmy, because that way I could start afresh with the Right Association. But because that didn't happen, I went back with my old friends, started to make new friends as well. So, anyway, going back to meetings, I felt alone every single time that I went to the Kingdom Hall. I felt horrible. And then when I was working, because I worked at a bar as well, I met a guy, and we connected straight away, relatively. But I started seeing him, and look, the others didn't know. I had moved, my phone had issues and things like that. But then the elders wanted to talk to me again, and then they reinstated me eventually. Yes, I did miss the ministry, and I missed quite a lot of things. I was using the app, which was really cool. I was trying my hardest to give it a good shot. I then went into that study book, the God's Love book. And of course, no, I wasn't with anybody. Once I had been reinstated, I ended it because I wanted to give this a good go. I wanted to make sure that the things that I was learning, my actions wasn't going to hinder it. And so with me going through the God's Love book, it was good, as I was saying before. But then going back to the, what's it called? The disfellowshipping chapter, I always had trouble going through that because I never believed it to be fair. But I just kind of said what the study conductor wanted to hear when it came to that chapter, because it was still such a frustrating topic for me. It probably still will be, because to a lot of people, it's not very fair. A lot of people try to come back and they can't because the elder has a vendetta against them, or it doesn't look like they're trying enough. But anyway, enough of that. So once Kaylee moved in, I really tried my hardest to not have any of my actions to stumble her or anything like that. So that year was really good because I could actually really, really focus on trying to do things right in God's eyes, or Jehovah's eyes. Well, in the witnesses' eyes, which was cool. And hey, lo and behold, that was the first time I really got invited out to anything that the congregation wanted to do. And I was like, okay, cool, this is really, really cool. And then after Kaylee leaves, that just instantly stopped. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because I've been reinstated, I must be diseased and nobody wants to get to know me. So I never felt loved in the congregation. Like, yes, there were a few people that I became close with. I think my friend Sarah, she's lovely. Debbie and Phil, they were lovely, but I always felt like they were still judging me. I remember I really wanted to answer up, but being shy and scared that I'm not going to make a good enough answer like everybody else, I wanted to participate in the Bible reading on the Sundays, but I would never get picked, and I asked why. Because I don't know, it needs to seem like you're putting in a good effort. And apparently being a single mum, trying to get to the meetings on time, which never happens, and everything else, apparently I just didn't make the cut. So that kind of hindered me a little bit. But anyway, there was a few other things that recently got to me because we're going through the Kingdom Rules book, and of course the Bible, some of it in the Watchtower and things like that. Talking about the resurrection, and how it would always be contradicting. In the Bible, it talks about there's going to be a resurrection of the good and the evil, vile and the righteous. I can't remember the wording in some of the things. But in the Kingdom Rules book, there's the judgment beforehand and only having the righteous go through. Not a resurrection of the good and bad, of the vile. Like, us being human, having imperfect bodies, imperfect minds, how are we supposed to make a proper judgment, a proper choice without knowing exactly the truth? Because here in this world, nothing's certain. Like, I grew up 26 years and only to find out that a lot of my childhood growing up as a witness has been a lie. So in answer to your question, Uncle, what organisation out there will I be going to? I won't be going to any others because I can't trust any others. That relationship between God and me will stay between God and me, and I will find out what I need to find out through study of the Bible and other means. But by no means will I be trusting humans again to direct my spiritual life. Because where has it gotten me now? One of the other things too is, as I had been studying while being reinstated, Kirk would always ask me questions, and so I would always try my best to answer them. And me being me, I like to find out that what I'm going to say in reply is indeed true. So one time he tells me that, hey, I found this. The Watchtower and Bible Tract Society, the witnesses, they have stocks and shares in companies of weapons of mass destruction, of companies that make interesting videos, movies of soft porn and things like that. yeah, war movies, mystery movies, all of those kind of movies that are not morally sound in the teachings. In companies that make biotech, chemicals, aggressive lobbying, environmental scandals, cancer-inducing things. What was that? The other things, a company that makes smoke. So just all these things that, what was it? In the God's Love book, the book that we go through, it goes over a section of employment, and I remember going over this where we, as witnesses, we wouldn't get jobs, say, cleaning for the Linton Army military camp. Why? Because that's in support of military purposes in war. But what was it? So if we wouldn't, like cleaning's a fine job, but cleaning for the army, that's morally unsound. I think morally, what did you say, Auntie? You said, let me go back into that message that you sent me. Number 4, what was it? So what can we say about the fruitages of the witnesses? So 1, preaching. 2, unity. 3, neutrality to the world's affairs. 4, morality. Okay, morality. Upholding and striving to keep Jehovah's high moral standards, even as the world's morals go ever downward. This, to me, is amazing. Good fruitage, which Jesus said shows the tree must be good. Yes, the people in the organization are imperfect, and we make mistakes, but we are all trying, and I believe that we have Jehovah's Holy Spirit backing us. How else could this be done? So, on the grounds of morality, these shares, these stocks that the organization knows about, because they have to know about what they've got, is not morally sound, because it deals in companies that, well, nobody would go to war, right? So by dealing in companies that make weapons of mass destruction, that is participating in war, that's supporting it. And finding out all of these things, truthfully, like actual hard copy evidence. So, for example, right here I have physical hard evidence which you can actually download from the actual website, because it is public knowledge. You can find the return of the Henrietta M. Riley Trust. Now, Henrietta M. Riley, she was one of the ones who had passed away. So before she passed away in 1945, she donated a capital to support the Watchtower and Tract Society. And once these had been donated, they had gone into the Watchtower Tract Society. Where are we going? So here we go, we've got that. Where did I find it? So on the certain part, here we go, supplementary information. Grants and contributions paid during the year. Paid during the year to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Alright, bear with me. You can see how frustrated I am, knowing that I grew up in this organization, thinking that the organization was completely clean from reproach and everything like that, to only find out that I've been lied and by hypocrites. So highlighted a few things here of the companies that make these things. So for example, where are we? Got Boeing Co. which is a sector in armaments industry, combat aircraft, helicopters, missiles. Where are we? Honeywell. Honeywell is another armaments industry in military technology. Lockheed Martin, that's also the warfare side of things. Where are we? Lionsgate Entertainment Corp. That's things like Saw, so the horror thriller kind of movies. Twilight, you know, I remember there's a video about at the meeting where the lady's like, sorcerers, werewolves, what was the other one? The one with the teeth? Vampires and things. We wouldn't want to watch anything like that because it's, I can't remember the words that she said, but there's a video there, and so when the lady comes back from cleaning, she sits down and the TV show pops on that everybody's been raving about, but it's got a werewolf in there, or the teeth. Oh, gosh. Vampire, there we go. And she's like, no, I can't watch it. And that's the moral conduct. Yet, here we have proof that they have shares and stocks in these. And what I was saying to Mum, and I can't remember who else, was in the Israelites' day, everything was to a T. God's standards were set out, and everything was done to the T. Like, there was even protocols for cleanliness. So when the women were on their period, they would have to go out of the camp to make it healthy for everybody inside. Living in today's world and knowing that we shouldn't be working in cleaning because it's in cleaning the military camps and things because it's supporting war, yet they think it's okay to accept and hold shares and stocks supporting those companies. I'm sorry, but that's very hypocritical. My stapling system is breaking apart. Anyway. The other thing too is, there we go. The other thing too that was interesting for me is, yes, I know we're human. I know the organisation is human. But finding out from the Watchtower's own organisation that they clearly state that the governing body is not spirit directed. That was interesting. It's in a February Watchtower. I'll have to put the link below when I find it. But yeah, the thing that I was starting to talk about before, sorry that my thoughts have been all over the place, but you wanted to know exactly what's going on in my head, in my heart, was that yes, humans are imperfect and we all make mistakes. And we always knew that there was lots of bad things happening in the Catholic churches and things like that, like lots of child abuse, sexual abuse. But to find out that it's more than just a few within the witnesses horrifies me. I found, what was it? Here we go. An official legal document, report of case study number 29 from the Australian Royal Commission into Institutional Responses of Child Sex Abuse. Child sex abuse. For one, that's adultery, I don't know, that's sexual conduct outside marriage. But this is sexual child abuse. My goodness. So I encourage you to look at this. Like everything that I've shown you, I encourage you to have a look at this to make sure that what I'm saying is true, because I am not lying. I am not telling you lies from lies. I am telling you what I have found from actual legit things. Sorry, I have a friend messaging me. So the Australian Royal Commission, they did this thing on child sex abuse with the witnesses. But first, Mum, what would you do if I were abused, sexually abused, physically abused? What would you do? Would you go to the police or would you go to the elders first? While it's not discouraged now, it was for many, many years. Even now, the elders still say, just leave it to Jehovah's hands. The elders won't ever tell you to go to the police. And I know that there's a watchtower coming out for sometime early next year about the abuse. I think physical abuse in family. I will just find that. Where are we going? Nearly there. Slowly getting there. Here we go. So it's going to be a watchtower for consideration from February to March. About physical abuse to the point where it's going to affect your health and your life could be in danger. That they don't tell you to go to the police. They tell you to consult the elders and leave it at that. All these kind of things. But what would you have done, Mum, if I was sexually abused or physically abused? What would you have done? There are many things in my life that went on that you will never know, Mum. Anyway, so there's other data here. Analysis of Jehovah's Witness organization files, so the files that the witnesses hold on record, not the stuff that hasn't been told or never written down, but the allegations, reports, or complaints the organization received relate to at least 1,800 alleged victims of child sexual abuse, and this is just in Australia alone. 579 of those against whom allegations were made confessed to having committed child sexual abuse. 507 admitted. Of the 1,006 members against whom allegations of child sexual abuse were made, 108 were elders or ministerial servants at the time of the alleged abuse. 28 alleged perpetrators were appointed as elders or ministerial servants after an allegation of child sexual abuse was made against them. 401 alleged perpetrators were disfellowshipped as a result of the allegation, and 230 of those alleged perpetrators were later reinstated. Of those disfellowshipped, 78 were disfellowshipped on more than one occasion as a result of allegation of child sexual abuse. In relation to this data, there were no evidence before a Royal Commission that there were 1,800 victims. The Jehovah's Witness organisation used a broad definition of reportable sexual misconduct, and that definition includes sexting. It is the right of an adult survivor of child sexual abuse to decide to report his or her abuse to the police and not that of the organisation. There was no relevant legislative mandated reporting of obligation in most of the jurisdictions in which 1,006 alleged perpetrators were reported. In many cases, victims or their families did not want the secular authorities involved. And generally, that's not the victims. Generally, that's the families. Or the victims, they just don't want to tell anybody most of the time, because it was going to affect them badly. The family wouldn't want to know them, and they would get disfellowshipped because they were wearing something that provoked the guy. it was their actions. How could a 12-year-old girl or a 9-year-old girl or even a boy, a little boy, little girl, how could they act sexually, fully knowing well what they were doing? But they do not find it necessary to comment on these submissions because the numbers tell their own story. Most of these matters are addressed elsewhere in the report. And it goes on. There's more and more and more. And to find out that this is really, really rampant, it's horrific. Now, there's one other document that I wanted to share with you as well. If you guys wanted the evidence, I'm showing you the evidence. So here we have official elders' letters. All thanks to the Royal Commission. So these became legal, what are we called? Public documents that anybody can grab. So that's what I have them. Evidence. So here we go. Letters. Legal concerns regarding accusations of child abuse. Where are we going? Here we go. I highlighted a few things here to show you. Here we go. This one here. Dated September 1st, 2017, to all bodies of elders regarding protecting minors from abuse. So, point number 3, from the Bible standpoint, child sexual abuse is a gross sin. Alright, so we got that. There's a whole bunch of scriptures there. Deuteronomy 23:17, blah, blah, blah. Now, the victim, the parents, or anyone else who reports such an allegation to the elders should be clearly informed that they have the right to report a matter to the secular authorities. Elders do not criticize anyone who chooses to make such a report. So this is 2017. 2 elders should immediately call the legal department at the branch office for legal advice. Now, why don't they call the police? Because that's a serious matter. What's it called? They're breaking the law. They're a criminal. The people out there doing sexual misconduct, abusing these children, these youths, sexually, it's a crime, as well as a gross sin, of course, but it's a crime and that needs to be dealt correctly. There's the 14 Judicial Committee. On the other hand, if a wrongdoer is repentant and is reproved, the reproof should be announced to the congregation. But the congregation is unaware that this person is a kiddie fiddler. So not only does it mean that the congregation is in danger, but a sister gets married to this person and say she's got a few children, then and she was never told that that person was a sexual offender, and then goes on to do that with her children. I'm sorry, but here we go. Point 18, restrictions. The elders will be directed to caution the individual never to be alone with a minor, not to cultivate friendships with minors, not to display an affection. Cautioning them, but not cautioning everybody else, because they think everybody's safe in Jehovah's organization. So the elders would take this step only if directed to do so by the service department. Now, that is emphasized here only. Now, the one who has engaged in child sexual abuse does not qualify to receive any privileges in the congregation for many years. Also, moving to another congregation, the Congregation Service Committee should not send any information to the new congregation until receiving legal advice. So that person could be in that congregation for months, even a year or more, without knowing the direction from the legal department and the direction from the service department. Okay, number 23 here, notification by secular authorities. They may inform the elders that a sex offender is living in their area. The notice may provide the address of the individual and may state the nature of his criminal activity. In such case, the elders should list that address on the appropriate territory maps as do not call. Yet, when the witnesses know that there is a pedophile, a sexual offender, in the congregation, it's not safe for the community, not safe for anybody in the congregation, but they don't tell. So people are aware to make sure their children themselves are safe. So if they really wanted to protect, then why don't the elders let the public and congregation know that? Because, I'm sorry, a person being a pedophile, a sexual abuser, a child fiddler? That's disgusting. They aren't looking for compassion. They're just pedophiles. And then he gets away with it without proper punishment. It's just, hey, you can't answer up at the meetings, or you can't have any of the privileges. But they don't care about that. They know that they're going to be safe from the authorities because, well, hey, there are children here. People don't think that I'm that bad. So I can get away with it. But anyway, that's only just some of the things. And finding out all of this stuff, yes, it's true. Mind-blowing stuff for me, because that was my whole life. Lied to, but hey, you didn't know any better. Nobody really knows any better, because we're all told to believe that what comes from the governing body, what comes from everything is true, and that their actions are not of reproach. They are completely walking with integrity, yet all of these things happen, and it hasn't changed. It's gotten worse. So, along with my confusion with some things that would never get answered, my feeling of unloved in the congregation, it's weird. It's been a few months that I haven't really been to the meetings because of work, trying to keep this roof over my son's head and myself and feed him, because I've been sick, so I haven't been able to go to work. So I work another job because it's physical. Trying to do everything and then not going to the meetings. Yeah, you'd think that somebody might be like, hey, Emma, are you okay? Well, after a few weeks. Not 3 months. And also to get messages like, Emma, you're not putting Jehovah first. You need to get your priorities right. Without even considering what the person is going through. I'm sorry, I've had enough. I have had enough, because I've been trying my hardest to do things right in Jehovah's eyes, in the organization's eyes, because I love my son. I want the best for him, and I want to be living my life with integrity and truth, but I can't do that if I'm associated with an organization that is hypocritical to its roots. And that is why I'm disassociating myself as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because I'm a good person. I know I'm a good person. And this isn't helping. So, you can tell me all you want. Go see the elders. Go do this. Oh, everything that you're reading is a lie. No, I had to look at it a few times, and it's true. I got it cold, hard, straight from the horse's mouth. Evidence. Right there. And so that's why I'm leaving. I love you guys. I hope that this has given you insight to how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, even though I never really went over a lot of things, but you can clearly hear it in my voice and see it in my facial actions, my facials. But that's why that's why I'm disassociating myself as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because I never want to be known part of the witnesses. I ripped up my no black card because I realized it says I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, no, I'm not. It becomes official tomorrow night. There's nothing that you guys can try to tell me to change my mind because of everything that I know that's going on. Look, the only thing that makes me sad is that I won't be able to communicate with you guys because of the disfellowshipping, the shunning. Because I love everybody. I love all of you. And you all mean dear to me. And even though you guys all mean that much to me, I'm not going to stay in an organisation that's lied to me, that's hypocritical, that lies to everyone. There are many other things that I could tell you, but we're already at 41 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you all made it to the end because you wanted to see exactly what was going on in my head and my heart. I made this video again to show you once and for all, not having to answer each and every single time. So yeah, my name is Emma. I'm a lovely girl. I'm not crazy. There's nothing wrong with me. My thinking is fine. I went looking for the truth, and I found everything. I found the true information about the organisation that we've been led to believe that is completely clean, because for years I thought it was, and then I found this out. Going forward, I can't trust any organisation on earth in regards to God and the Bible and things like that, because it will just be more lies, and where has that got me? So going forward, I'm doing my own thing. I'm getting to know God on my own. And I'm going to live my life happy, and I'm going to enjoy it while I'm alive. I hope that someday soon I will be able to talk to you guys. But again, that is your decision, not mine. Because I've made my decision and it becomes official soon. Okay, well, I've been speaking for long enough, so I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and if I never speak to you again, I hope you have a wonderful life. Just remember that I'm here if you ever need to ask questions about this. I don't want you to talk to me about witness stuff, as the guidelines say that you're not to talk to disfellowshipped ones or disassociated ones about witness stuff. But if you have questions about the things that I found, I will show you, because everyone deserves to know the truth about what they're in, what they're getting themselves into. They need to know everything. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I would love to know that you have watched the whole thing, because then you definitely know what's going on in my heart and my head. So for now, I love you all. And it's the decision that I've made. So